So yeah, this is our. I have go at the beginning of this, so I got to edit it out. But this is our bonus episode. I believe it's bonus number 8 of Master Race Debaters. We are B Black and I are here, and shit went down this week where there was like a payoff school scandal in the States.
What's it called? College scandal? Varsity Blues, aka Varsity Blues.
Varsity, that was the name of the. So Aunt Becky was like from Full House was paying to get her dumbass kids into school. Fucking morons.
Yo, I call this shit, affirmative action for rich white folks.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
There's affirmative action for white folks, don't get me wrong, but what Varsity Blues is pretty much affirmative action for rich white folks.
Well, she paid like $500,000 to get her kid, like, fuck. And they were like, apparently, like, one of them, they had to get, I guess, photos of her on a rowing machine. Because they were entering her as like as a rowing, like I guess on a rowing team, and the guy, I guess the coach was like, get a photo of her on a boat, but they put her on a rowing machine and sent the fucking photos out. It's like it's just. It's like you shouldn't be in school.
That's fucked up.
So what they did was like they hired people to do SATs. They had like I guess a proxy to hire SATs, and they faked their they pretended they were I guess a sports and athlete. They pretended that some of their kids were athletes or minority to get into whatever. Yep. And so they paid. It's a whole bunch of people. Like I think they busted 50 people. And 33 of them are parents, and so it's all, and it's like it's just big, and I'm sure it happens all over the place. I mean, there's also it brings up the whole legacy. You know what I mean? Like people going to school because their parents and grandparents went to the school. It's This thing is fucked because, like, to get into some of these schools, like Harvard, I believe, is like 4 to 5% acceptance, and 33% of those acceptance are now are legacy.
Yeah.
So
as a motherfucker.
It's rigged as shit.
Yeah. It's okay. It's tough to get in. We just established that, right?
Yeah.
It's cutthroat as a motherfucker. I still remember junior high being told, yo, take this shit seriously. I'm not talking about Ivy League school, but just take this shit seriously. You want to get into university, blah, 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 blah. So I ended up going to some trade school, but that's another story. I'm starting to think maybe that's why my guidance counselor kept talking me out of going to university. It's like, yo, buddy.
My guidance counselor to try to talk me out of that shit, too.
Yo, my parents believed there was a conspiracy, like they were trying to get black people that, yo, don't bother, man.
That's what my mom was pissed because the principal was like, just take general courses. Because I don't know how it was in Quebec, but in Ontario, if you took general, you couldn't go to university.
General, you couldn't go to the,
And they're telling a kid in like grade 8 this.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you be a carpenter? Jesus was a carpenter.
Jesus was a carpenter. You'll be closer to God when you smash your head in with a hammer because you can't pay shit.
But okay, so the news is pretty much here as, okay, so there was a back door, and these guys are talking about a side door.
Yeah.
For rich people. There's a back door. Okay, there's the front door, the competitive one that everyone goes through. There's a back door. It gets complicated. And then there's the side door where this dude is like, hey, basically this guy, Rick Singer, had a database of people who could be bought. Mm-hmm. So he could say, okay, yo, you pay me money and I will get your stupid kid into university. I will make it happen. You know what I mean? But he's an idiot. He still hasn't figured out math, addition and subtraction. Don't worry about it.
The one of the big bus is a guy. I forget his name. My computer's in the shop, so I don't have a lot of my notes for this. But Ben, he's a tech guy who's like leading this whole. He was at the Soros meetup where all these rich people discuss economy and fucking laugh at us poor people. But he's leading this whole like revival of capitalism. He's one of the guys that's like, oh, capitalism has been corrupted, and I think people like him and Bono from U2, they're all trying to be like, no, we can make it better. We can regulate it and make capitalism a better thing. He gets busted fucking cheating in this fucking scandal. It's well, the worst. Here's the thing: is the gaslight is just going to continue. It's just going to get worse. This is going to be brought up, and like it's already forgotten. It's already done, and black people are going to be like, "Hey, see, it's rigged. White supremacy exists. You are not as talented as you think you are. The playing field is rigged, and white people will be just because they cannot accept." The social construct of white supremacy. They can't accept that whiteness is a social construct. And if they accept white supremacy, then they got to start questioning themselves. They got to start questioning, if it's not fair, then what the fuck, how good I am. If you base your identity on that and you casually just go through the world not caring about well, I'm not saying they don't care, but not acknowledging your privilege or not acknowledging what whiteness does for you, when it comes to your face, it'll fucking shatter your reality. And I think this shit is just going to be forgotten because it's just it's just like what's his name in the Matrix. I'm like, I know this is not real meat, but I don't mind eating this fake steak.
Yes. So the mastermind to this whole program, his name is Rick Singer, right? So to go along with what you're saying, somewhere there's got to be a Starscream, all right? So, I mean, he's Megatron. He was the leader of the ship. Someone is going to, he's going to get arrested, but someone is going to continue to say, hey, I could get your kid in, but we just got to be quiet. You know what I mean? Like, this shit's not going to stop. You know what I mean? Fuck you.
Apparently, they got busted because some other dude who was, in the scandal was, scamming some other shit, and he got picked up, and then he started ratting on people.
Maury Tobin, that's his name, snitching ass. Okay, let me confess something, right? When I heard about this entire scam, I was like, yo, good for you, white folks. You know what I mean? Good. Like, I wouldn't be making a case out of this if all these rich white people who benefited from this scam, came to our defense when Abigail Fisher, I have to bring, I'm bringing that name into the dirt.
Bring it back.
Abigail Fisher, a.k.a. Becky with the bad grades, right? She's the girl who, I think she went to Texas University. No, sorry. She was trying to get into Texas University.
Yes.
She didn't. She found out that this black chick, this Latino chick, got in and felt, wait a minute, well, that's bullshit. They got in on some affirmative action shit, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then they dug in only to find out that, she's not as smart as she thinks she is.
So she tried to sue the school. Like, she went to court with this shit.
She tried to sue the school, but it also became a big story about, how the system is trying to favor these minority groups. Right?
Yeah.
And when they dug into they dug into the story, they found out that her grades weren't that good. Like, she wasn't as smart as she thought she was, right? Like, she probably the folks who got in got 9 out of 10, and she was like an 8 out of 10 or something. I'm being generous, right? Or whatever, right? And two, the other thing too is a shitload of white people benefited from affirmative action.
They always do. It's always white women. You know what I mean? Based on the statistics, white women benefit from affirmative action more than anyone else.
Exactly. So I wouldn't be doing a touchdown dance like I am right now, even though it's nothing's gonna happen. But
look at Harvard. You want to talk about affirmative action? There's a ongoing case. I don't know if what's going on, but Asian students are suing Harvard because they're making their SATs or their acceptance harder because they found out that Harvard believe that white male entrances have been on a decline, and they're trying to balance it out, and they're calling it affirmative action. They're calling it exactly that.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So
wow. Yeah. So yeah.
But there's the superior race, right? It's just when you tilt the table a bit, then you realize, oh yes, they are the superior race. Based on tilting the table quite a bit. Generations of tilt table. And that's the thing is, if you tie this, if you were a conservative and you and I were talking and I was like, oh yeah, this goes back to slavery, get the fuck out of here.
You know what I mean?
How everything's racist. How
you know what I mean? Yeah.
You're like, well, fuck you. The only reason that fucking Aunt Becky has this kind of money and these people have this kind of money is because they have a leg up. They've been generationally legged up.
legged up. You know what I mean? If
That,
it's
like-
not the money, if it's not the money, it's the what's the word? Generation leg up. What's that word for it? Oh shit. Anyways, yeah. The system has had your back. From the
it's
beginning.
had the back. It's like when we did that episode about the two pot guys. The one guy who's like he's been dealing pot but getting busted, and the white guy who gets busted, and the judge is like, "Well, you remind me of my son, you scamp." and then the white guy has the nerve to be like, "Fuck, I don't know how people are getting busted." So he can become legitimate pot dealer when it becomes legal, but the black guy can't. And it's like, he's like, I don't get if you can't get if you get busted in this game, something's wrong with you. It's like, fucking white dude, everyone's got your fucking back. And then I was also like, I was watching pundits. I'm sorry, I don't have my computer, so my names and stuff are not with me right now. But I was watching pundits talk about how this is the most dangerous type of entitlement for these kids, because these people, like I said about the pot dispensary guy, these people that are given this benefit, like these kids that go to these schools based off of the scam, people like that, when they get that entitlement, they don't realize, they think they still earn that entitlement. They still think they think that is what belongs to them.
Yeah.
Which is even worse. That's even worse.
Hey, could you imagine, right? I'm gonna give you a scenario, right? Could you imagine being that one guy? Okay, you got your doctorate, your bachelor's, Yale, whatever, right? And you've been talking shit to people who went to Phoenix University, or you've been telling black people to pull yourself by your bootstrap, talking about how hard you work. This shit wasn't easy for me, all right? I had to work my ass off to get this shit. And only to find out, and then have your parent in the news talking about how
my stupid kid, Jared Kushner, fucking moron, couldn't get into school. And then they get these. This is what scares me. Every time I get on a plane, I always think about, like, what if I was on, like, the building of the plane crew? What if like there's a person like me who's like, fucking, oh, I have an extra screw. All right, I'll just throw it over my shoulder. You know what I mean? That person that's just so goddamn oh fuck, I fucked up. Just cuts corners, right? Like me. I always think about that, and now I'm confirmed that there's fucking doctors and lawyers and politicians who are out there who have fucking cut the goddamn corners, who shouldn't be in these positions. Just imagine having a doctor that's dealing with your cancer or whatever, or your heart attack, who fucking parent paid them to get through to that point.
Yeah.
Shit, that's scary.
That's very scary.
Yeah.
I was thinking of more. Okay, so the idiot doc. Exactly. What do you do at that point when you realize that, fuck, this shit's all been a lie?
Yep.
You've only won because everyone else had their hands behind their back.
Yeah, pushing you.
Do you have a moment of honesty and say, fuck it, let me try again? Fuck that, you know what I mean? Like,
no, apparently they won't. Apparently most of these people will just be like,
keep surround yourself with people who say, nah, you're a genius.
Yeah, you're good to go.
And people who talk about white supremacy are just making excuses for themselves.
But that's kind of the basis of, like, libertarianism and capitalism, is like the idea that, you know, like the free market will figure it out, or the idea that, like, people who are like Jeff Bezos deserves to be where he is. These people deserve to, like, they're the elite. They're the greatest. They deserve to be there. And it's like, well, no, they don't. And we don't know how they got there. We don't know anything. Jeff Bezos didn't invent. He just fucking changed mail a bit. That's what he did.
And what kills me too is, okay, on the flip side is, I grew up with self-esteem issues, right? Mm-hmm. And believing people, these guys are just better than me, man. These folks, fuck, I'm working my ass off, but shit. I guess I'm not working hard enough, or I guess I'm not smart enough. I guess, I don't know, fuck.
Yeah.
I should talk to people. I should learn from people like them to be inspired, only to find out that they were no better than me.
Yeah.
They just had a fucking leg up.
I'm sure. I'm sure there's people who are good at their position in that shit. But
and I've met them. You
right.
know what I mean?
But you're also dealing, like, in your own life when you're like, I'm better than this motherfucker. How the fuck did this motherfucker get ahead?
Yeah.
How's it like? How are they pushing tables aside for this person to walk down the street? They just push it. They just clear the sidewalk off and go, hey, look at all the obstacles you had to get through. Yeah, there was a crack. There was a crack on the sidewalk I had to step over.
Yeah. Let me. Okay. Out of everything that I want to say, and this is a message I'm going to reinstate. I'm going to reinstate. Say a lot. Okay. If you want to be a good white person, be informed. Two things: inform yourself, or like get out the way. Inform yourself, or just stay out the way. And what I mean by that is, black people, we're in a hole, right? We're in a hole that we're trying to climb out. And every once in a while, as we try to climb out, you got the Abigail Fishers of the world trying to, say, hey, what the fuck? Why are you trying to get some special privileges? And blah, blah, blah. Like, we're slowed down by people like her.
Yeah.
We don't need your help. We're trying to climb out ourselves. And it's the people who play dumb. You use the word, keep shifting goalposts.
Yeah.
Keep gaslighting. Keep saying, we're just trying to breathe, trying to get to that level, and it's always been construed as, oh, these black people want special privileges.
Well, that's
what I mean.
That's the thing, right? Like, that's like when you talk about someone like that Abigail woman, it's like you're dealing with people who, in the context of history, in the context of economics, in the context of politics, they can't see outside of themselves. They see themselves in a meritocracy. So they see you, or they see a black person, and okay, they see Serena Williams, and then she's a tennis, and the white tennis player as on the same level. And so it's like, okay, well, Serena Williams is a better tennis player, but this woman can't understand. I mean, that's a bad analogy. Sorry, but that this woman can't understand how a Hispanic or Latino woman gets into the college before her. She has special privileges, but she can't understand why there is a push for the best people from a brown community to have an easier access to it, because historical context isn't it's not about her. So why would I understand historical context when it doesn't fucking... They have two separate histories. Even though there's only one history, they have two separate histories. So it's like, well, why? I don't know. Why would she get it and not me? What the fuck? This is unfair. It's not unfair, you dumb fucking loser. It's just... You're an idiot. You're just,
I was telling Gavin earlier about, because I listened to a whole bunch, in preparation for this episode, I listened to a whole bunch of other episodes, other podcasts discussing the scandal. I read articles about it. And it's interesting how the conservative side, they're not looking at, oh, wow, whoa, black people were right. Holy shit, this confirms everything black people were saying about our system, right? No, they got into discussion about, why do we need university? Why? University's not that important. No, one guy says all university does, I love this one, all university does, it gives you access to a social network, and it makes you look good. It makes you look good. It makes you be able to say, hey, I went to Harvard, so my argument about trans, basically, it's a way the left used to shut people down.
Well,
I went to university.
Again, it's shifting the goalpost, because it's like it's the discussion is about people getting paying to get into what's supposed to be a meritocracy, and so it's like, well, why do you need it? Because and then they have to have an opinion on it, like someone like Ben Shapiro. I don't know why you're listening to Ben Shapiro. I know you told me not to say it.
There you go, snitching again, man. What the fuck?
But no, dude, you got to spy on you got to spy. So so people like that, they need to have an opinion on it, but they need to stick with their fucking talking point. So they got to find what's wrong with it what's wrong with it in a partisan way. Like how is the left making this bad when really this is not a right or left wing thing. This is white supremacy. And this is what I love is like the conservative party is so fucking devoid of any real substance except making rich people richer, that their whole thing, they've now aligned themselves with like, well, if you speak about racism, this I was telling someone the other day. I got into an argument. I was in a debate on Facebook, shock and awe, and and someone they're talking about this left wing thing in the avatar, and I'm like, how do you know it's left wing? It was it was like a joke that this person made, and I'm like, how do you know it's left wing? They're like, oh, because they have the rainbow flag. I'm like, so conservatives don't have gays? Like, you're not, they fucking backtrack because that's exactly it. They're devoid of any real substance for people who are not rich. That they tie themselves to racism and homophobia and anti-women because that's a left thing, where it's like, well, no, that shouldn't be a left or right thing. That should be like, okay, well, yeah, no, we have gays in our party. Where if they're trying to, you know what I mean? They want black people to Blexit. They wouldn't be like, oh no, racism is our thing. That's our thing. They're just so fucking confused. It's such a confused fucking ideology.
It's okay. I'm a believer in learning, cooperating with people you don't agree with. Okay, and I don't mean that in a kumbaya type of way, right?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of solutions that came from disagreements, and they synergize. I'm a big believer in Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Effective People.
Yeah.
Highly effective people. Like the genius in that shit, but the word synergize. It's like, hey, you want to go to Montreal, I want to go to Toronto, and we come up with a solution that's better than whatever we came up with. So my point, all this to say that it's cool if you want to be, you want to be left wing or right wing, right? But when it gets to a point where we're not cooperating, we're just using it as a reason to be like, no, I'm better than you, then it breaks my heart. Like,
yeah, but I think ideologies are important, and like when you're dealing with something like this, when you're talking about, this like legacy applications or this like this bribery scandal, and you're like, well, I'm going to turn this into I'm going to make this partisan, I'm going to turn this into a left or right wing thing. It's like, well, I can't talk to you because you're trying to erase a part of the culture and the history that this is the problem with what you're saying with synergizing or whatever. It's like when you're dealing with something like this, it's fundamentally opposing views. You can't like no right wing person. They're either not going to comment on it or they're going to be like it because it ties into capitalism. It ties into like the whole idea, like you should be able to buy your station in life. That should be right.
You should be able to buy your station in life. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, like it's an argument that's like a cognitive dissonance because they're like, okay, well, no, we live in a meritocracy, and then this happens, and they have to defend that too. It's like, but it's a meritocracy, but it's not. It's like, why can't? But it's. Anyway, I think we hit it. Unless you had the last point, do you?
No, I'm just all this to say is I'm gonna end with shut the fuck up, Abigail Fisher.
She should. All right, I'm gonna stop it here. That was good.